Let's start this video off talking about core beliefs. Our core beliefs are the building blocks of our entire reality and what we experience life to be. My core beliefs have always looked something like I am unworthy, I am unlovable, I am a burden, I have no value, I am inherently stupid. When we hold beliefs like these, do we believe them because they are inherently true or because it's all we've ever known? If we believe them to be inherently true, then why do a lot of us constantly seek out otherwise in the world? For example, let's say you're having a good day today. Maybe you're at work or you're with friends or you're at school and you're actually having a good time and people around you are validating you in a way that's making you feel like, oh, maybe I'm not this horrible person. Maybe people do love me. Maybe I'm not a burden. Maybe I'm not annoying. All of these things I believe about myself. You can't believe you're a fun person, but they can. You can't believe you're a lovable person, but they can. It's almost like they have permission to believe things about you that you don't have permission to believe about yourself. You were probably raised with this ideology that there will always be this authority that has all the power over you. People in the external world have more authority than you will ever have over yourself. Your authority knows better than you. Remember how worthless you are? Remember how much you don't know? You don't understand anything. So this dynamic is embedded in your belief system. You have no authority over anything. You believe wholeheartedly that you are nothing, you are worthless, and then on top of that, a whole bunch of negative things about yourself. So now that we have these very limiting self-beliefs, these very limiting core beliefs, we no longer need to be restricted by an external source. We now are doing that ourselves. We are now restricting ourselves. We are limiting ourselves for the benefit of the authority that wants us to believe this way about ourselves. In our darkest moments, there will be things that come along called permission slips. These permission slips are just going to give you permission to feel differently about yourself than what you believe you have to feel about yourself. For example, let's say you have a core belief that you're ugly. You look in the mirror and you despise what you see. You despise the reflection. But let's say there's someone that comes into your life. It's a man and you admire this guy. He's cute. He's admirable. You're like, oh, I have a little bit of a crush on them. And let's say this man starts to tell you things like, you are so beautiful. You are so pretty. You have so much value. You're gorgeous. You're going to look at this man being like, no, I'm not. Like, stop it. Am I though? Do you really believe that? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Do you really believe that though? Do you believe that about me? Do you really think that about me? Do you really? He's giving you permission to feel things about yourself that you don't believe about yourself. I don't believe I'm pretty. I don't believe I'm gorgeous. I don't believe these things, but you do. We start to get really attached to this person. This person starts to become a part of us because we can't change our core beliefs because our core beliefs aren't the problem. Our core beliefs are right. Our core beliefs are true. Like, that's not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is that I can't believe this without them. I need them. I need this person. I can't feel this way about myself unless I have them. So you start to get really attached. You develop your entire sense of self around this person. So you're going to have a sense of something else. Something else is the sense of self I have because I can't have the sense of myself. I don't have sense. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I don't have understanding, blah, 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 blah. The sense of something else is going to be the permission slips. This person is your sense of self because they tell you what to believe. They tell you what to feel. You don't have to take on this responsibility for yourself. We don't have a sense of self, right? And we need to find a sense of self somewhere else. We need values. We need passion. We need something that gives us purpose. For example, let's say we're in high school and we just met this friend group and now we have absorbed ourselves into this friend group. You guys are hanging out every single day, all the time. You start to get attached. You start to get dependent. You start to mold yourself in the way that this community is molded. That way you will always fit in because the worst thing that could ever happen is you being rejected from this community or this environment. And so now you don't need to have your own sense of self. You don't need to develop your own values, your own understandings, your own passions, because this group is giving you all of those things. If you were alone, would you have these things? No. So you need this community now. This community, this environment is now your permission slip. We're not in this community to amplify ourselves. We're in this community to construct ourselves. If you lost this community, if you lost that person, if you lose the environment you're in, will you still be the person that you think you are right now? Do you believe you'll be able to hold on to these values and these passions even if you don't have them? No? Then you lack that sense of self. Your sense of self has just become this external sense of something else. Whenever we struggle with our sense of self, we struggle with having a favorite person, when we struggle with attachment and dependency, we always try to find the next external source that will give us permission. We literally cannot stand the thought of being by ourselves because when we're by ourselves, when we have to develop that sense of self, there's nothing there. Whenever I'm alone, whenever I'm in my bed, I just feel these chronic feelings of emptiness. It feels like there's this void void inside of me. It feels like something's missing. You are what's missing. All of these different permission slips that we just talked about give us permission to override our core beliefs. We don't think that the core beliefs are the problem. We don't need to change our core beliefs because we're right. We're always right, and all we ever think is right. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need external authority to feel things about yourself. You can mold yourself into what you want to be and what you want to believe and how you want to perceive yourself. We have been so drilled into believing that these external permission slips, these external authorities have so much power over us because they need to, because we're nothing, because we're worthless. Someone is benefiting off of your lack of self-importance. Your insecurity, rather, your security in inferiority fuels someone's security in superiority. We have to work on our sense of self, and I'm not talking about a sense of something else. You can't go out into the world to find yourself. You have to look internally. You have to look at yourself for who you are in this moment, reflect on it, and have compassion for yourself and work on what you want to change. How can I grow? How can I learn more about myself? How can I explore life in a way that I've never explored it before? Life is so complex and so are humans. Why is someone teaching you to think in black and white? It's not a matter of you are inherently a failure, you're a burden, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're worthless, you're nothing. And it's not a matter of you're the best, you're better than everybody else, you're superior. It's a mix of them. You have to recognize your own strengths and weaknesses. And a lot of the times, whenever we lack a sense of self, we've been taught to either see one or the other. Our sense of self is built off of how much we accomplish and how good we are and how perfect we are, and we have to be perfect and we have to people please and da 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 da. Or our sense of self is nothing and I'm worthless and I hate myself and I'm worthy of hating. Your sense of self isn't supposed to be built off of shaming yourself because of your weaknesses and glorifying yourself for your strengths. You want to have a good foundation of who you want to be. What are your core values? How do you want to make change in the world? And how can you constantly grow to stay aligned with those values? Permission slips are very helpful in life. And I'm not sitting here making this video saying that permission slips are bad, because they're not. Sometimes permission slips can be harmful in situations, and sometimes permission slips can be helpful in situations. Sometimes permission slips are exactly what we need in the moment to help ourselves get through a hard time when we don't feel like we have the strength to get through it alone. Everybody in the world uses permission slips, whether they're aware of it or not, whether they acknowledge it or not. Think about different faiths. Think about Buddhism, Judaism, Islam, Christianity. There are so many different faiths in the world that people find so much strength and love in. Many people in Abrahamic religions like Islam, Judaism, Christianity, they believe that their love, their safety, their security is all found in their God, and it can't be found anywhere else. Their God is the one source of all those things, but they all individually find community strength and love in their own community. They're using these things as permission slips rather than this objective truth. A Christian is no different than a Muslim. A Muslim can find so much strength and peace within the Quran and Allah, but then a Christian finds so much strength within Jesus and the Bible. They both perceive that their permission slip is objective when it's really just subjective. If someone finds peace in Buddhist teachings instead of in the Quran, does that mean that the Quran isn't actually giving people peace, love, and safety? No, they're all finding peace, love, and security within their communities. It's just permission slips. They're giving themselves permissions through different external sources. They all have their own rituals, they all have their own vernacular, they all have their own understanding of life, but they're all subjectively finding what they need to find within themselves through this external source. Once we get to an understanding that everything in life is subjective and that we are all going off of our own individual perceptions and understandings of the world that we've been taught within our environment, we'll be able to start being more aware of these permission slips and how they're used in our day-to-day lives. We have to acknowledge that our core beliefs are incorrect, and us bypassing them by using these permission slips to override what we currently believe is only bypassing the actual problem. It's only making us feel okay with what we believe in the moment because they actually don't need to change because we're right and there's nothing wrong. We are not right about everything, and our core beliefs are not an exception to that. Our parents passed down generational curses that were passed down to them, and we have to break the cycle by acknowledging what we've been taught incorrect and how we can correct those beliefs. We're not unworthy, we're not a burden, we're not dust, we're not nothing. We actually have so much value and importance and passion and purpose. It's just our responsibility to find those things. And once you break down those core beliefs, you actually have the passion to find yourself. What do I want to accomplish in the world now that I believe I can actually accomplish something? What's the change I want to make in the world now that I believe I can actually make a change? We don't need permission slips because we are our own authority. I do have a video on my channel all about creating a sense of self, but it's more tailored to people who have borderline personality disorder, but I do still encourage you to watch it because I think I made some good points in it. And if you'd like to check out my other videos, I encourage you to do so. Let me know. I want honest feedback. Tell me what I could do better. Tell me what you liked from this video. But if this video didn't help you at all, you left this video with less brain cells than you originally had, I do apologize for wasting your time. I just do hope you leave this video knowing that you are sexy, you are valid, and you are so loved, and I will see you in the next video.
Hope you like my videos. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber?